Hello, everybody. Welcome to this WSOU interview. My name is Chris Knight, and today we have a kind of a special interview here because we're kind of delving away from the music a little bit and we're joining the world of professional wrestling. And I'm very, very excited to be joining the world of professional wrestling. And we have a very special guest today. I'm joined by TNA star Mike Santana, who is going for the TNA title this Sunday. Mike, before I start any questions, how are you today, my friend?
I've had a long day, to be honest. It's been quite the last 2 days of crazy media and stuff, but this is what I've worked for, and I'm exactly where I need to be. So I look forward to it, and I embrace this stuff, man. So I'm good.
I
How are
got
you?
you. I'm good. I had a long day. I'm not quite doing all the cool media stuff. I work at a
Yeah,
summer camp, so my long day was a little less fun, I guess. And yeah, I'm glad you brought up the media stuff before it, because before I even get to the questions, I actually just saw you were in Subway Mania, which is absolutely awesome and cool. I
yeah,
saw it
yeah.
all over TikTok. I thought that was pretty awesome. I don't know if what you thought of it.
Yeah, so I've known Tim for a long time, and like he's been coming to a lot of the independent shows that I would do in New York and stuff. So we've known each other for a while. He's been trying to get me on for a while. We were just, waiting for the right time, and thankfully it all came together and we were able to make it happen. It was a lot of fun. Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, they look absolutely nuts. And I'm glad I got
Yeah.
to ask you about that. But for my first question, now we're gonna kind of stick to look to Sunday. What does it mean to you that you have a shot at the TNA title this Sunday, which has been held by the likes of superstars like AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and many others? What does that mean to you? Obviously, you're gonna be going against Joe Hendry and Trick Williams, but what does that mean to you personally?
It means everything, man. Like, aside from the title and stuff like that, we're in New York, my hometown, right?
Hmm.
And this is the place that all these people have seen me grow up. I've been wrestling since I was 17, 18 years old. So a lot of this crowd, they've seen me grow up and they've seen me from the very beginning and have followed this crazy journey that I've been on. So going into it with that element, right? And also, like you said, I'm in my very first main event as a singles wrestler, and going for the TNA World Championship is a huge deal. That belt holds a lot of weight, and you've mentioned names that have held it, and I'm looking forward to adding my name to that list, man. And it's gonna be great. I'm gonna have my family here. I'm gonna have a lot of my friends. Again, my city, and I'm ready to go.
That's awesome, man. And I'm glad you obviously see the weight of this title because it's such a great history with Kurt Angle and AJ Styles,
Yeah.
both of which WWE legends, so to speak. But I want to now take a step back actually and ask you about who are some of your professional wrestling inspirations that you've modeled yourself over the years. I mean, obviously you've been around a little while now. Who are your major
Yeah.
inspirations?
The guy who I could say that really sparked my eye and made me want to be a pro wrestler is Bret Hart. He was the first one that I saw in my very first match, and he inspired me also because I was never into a lot of the over the top comic book characters that were around at the time, like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and all these, larger than life characters. Bret was a regular guy that spoke a lot about his family and where he came from and his values and about wanting to be the best. And that was something that I always connected with, and I modeled a lot of my, I guess, creed with that. And but there were a ton. Eddie Guerrero has always been a huge inspiration of mine, being Latino and just being the journeyman pro wrestler that he was. Like he went all over the world and honed his craft and became one of the very best, right? And made his way to the top. Also, Shawn Michaels was definitely another one. I always say if it wasn't for there's no Brett without Shawn, there's no Shawn without Brett, you know.
Mhm.
So I was very heavy into wrestling, and I went to my very first event during the road to WrestleMania 12.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that was actually the match that made me want to be a wrestler, was the Iron Man match with Shawn and Brett. And a few others. There's been a lot of guys over the years. Kurt Angle is definitely another guy. For me, I love a lot of the journeyman pro wrestlers that have gone around the world and honed their craft, and um, yeah, like Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, like a lot of those guys.
I gotcha. I've been a wrestling fan probably my whole life. I'm not really old. I'm only 19 years old. But in terms of all these great legend, I mean, they're such unbelievable performers, it seems like, from
Yeah.
that standpoint. But to kind of move on a little bit, if you could wrestle anyone in the business right now across all the major kind of brands here, who would you go against and why? Who do you think you would want to fight?
My ultimate dream match, and I've made it known, is AJ Styles.
Hmm.
To me, that's the guy who undoubtedly was the first homegrown talent for TNA, and he was the guy who helped put the company on the map, you know, and me being in the position that I'm in, as far as, you know, they call me the standard, they call me the heart and soul of TNA. So, um, I would love to be able to wrestle AJ Styles.
Yeah, and that would be like almost similar to like the two generations going at each other.
Exactly.
And I think that would be
Exactly.
absolutely. I'd be sat with my popcorn watching that match. That's for
Yeah.
sure. um, but I kind of want to ask you a little bit of a thought provoking question here. So throughout the companies you have worked for, and I'm going to tweak this question a little more than what I actually wrote originally. What have been kind of like the easiest by the book matches with the least amount of bumps as possible versus what have been the hardest and most grueling matches for you that you've kind of not obviously gotten injured from, but you felt it after you felt to the next
Yeah,
morning
yeah.
for sure.
Oh man, let's see. Easy. I don't think any match is easy, right?
Mhm.
I don't feel like I don't go into any match in my career with the mindset of, oh, this is going to be easy. I try to put my very best into everything that I do. Um, so yeah, that's to answer that question. I don't know, like I can't really think off the top of my head a match that like I would say was, oh, you know, it was okay because I'm a very intense, very physical kind of wrestler. So um, I'm gonna hit hard and I expect to get hit hard right back. So as far as grueling matches, I've had a lot of those. I would say let me see, the parking lot brawl that I had. That was definitely one of them. The barbed wire massacre that I had here in TNA a while back. Um, the concrete jungle match that I had here. Yeah, there's been a lot. One of the matches I had with Mustafa Ali recently at Rebellion, that was a tough one. But yeah, those are the ones that stand out to me.
I got you. You know those. I mean, obviously, you know, us the fans see a certain thing, but you can tell that those types of hits that you take in those really growing matches, they're not they hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
No, yeah. So now I'm gonna ask you a question that I kind of actually been thinking about with any wrestler I could ever interview, to be honest with you. But where do you hope to see yourself in the wrestling business in the next few years? And with so many different routes, including being a potential TNA champion come Sunday, of course. Could being a well-known name in the WWE be the next step? Could that be what's up next for you if you become the TNA champ on Sunday?
Where do I see myself? Honestly, like my ultimate goal is to be considered build up enough of a legacy to be considered one of the very best to ever do it.
Mhm.
You know, I want to be up there with the same names that I've mentioned to you. And that's honestly my ultimate goal. And also to be able to do this long enough to where I could continue setting up my family and giving my daughter an amazing life, you know, like I have been. So that's where I try to see myself. Longevity is key. I want to do this for as long as possible. I've dedicated my entire life to this. So yeah, and as far as like being a name in WWE, I mean, everyone's ultimate goal is to be there, right? That's the pinnacle of professional wrestling. But for me right now, my main focus is winning the TNA World Championship and also continuing to build the TNA brand. You
Mhm.
know, I again, they have given me these names of the standard, and heart and soul and all these things for a reason, and I take it very serious, and I want to be able to continue putting in the work to prove and to show that TNA is a place to be.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I'm glad you kind of mentioned TNA becoming a bigger brand because as I wouldn't consider myself like a huge professional wrestling fan in general, but as a
Yeah,
casual fan, I've discovered TNA a couple more like probably like 4 or 5 months back now. I discovered it, and it's this whole kind of like loophole of some great wrestling. And I'm so
yeah,
glad I discovered it. It's such a great brand to see, and I'm so happy to see it succeeding in such a way now, especially with you
yeah,
being one of them at the top now. It's
yeah.
just it's fantastic. But Mike, I'm gonna ask you. I got two more questions for you.
Sure.
This one you kind of answered a little bit already, but I think I'd love to hear a little bit more. Being from the city, what would it mean to win the title in New York, to hoist it in the place where you're from?
Insane. I think that's the dream, right? That's the goal. Honestly, aside from that, my main goal with winning the title is to present it to my daughter.
Hmm.
You know, that's ultimately what I want to do. My daughter saved my life, and she's the reason why I'm here today, and I'm able to do this. And that title is more of a thank you to her. So definitely, like that's how I'm looking at it.
I gotcha. And now my last question, we're gonna go right into the nitty-gritty of the match itself. Are you worried about Joe Hendry or Trick Williams on Sunday? Are you worried at all?
I'm not worried one bit. Do I underestimate them? Absolutely not, because I feel like, well, I at least I hope that they're coming with the same fire that I'm coming for. If not, they're gonna get eaten alive. And that's just straight up. But I wouldn't say that I'm worried. I'm more in a mindset of like, I'm ready to put on the hardest fight and the greatest show possible. So
I gotcha. Well, Mike, I appreciate your time. Best of luck on Sunday.
thank you.
Hopefully, we get to see you hoisting that TNA title by the end of the night. But that'll wrap up this WSOU interview for Mike Santana. My name is Chris Height. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.